How's it, everybody? Spike from Wavescape here with your surf report for the South African coast from today, Thursday the 15th of July, until midweek next week when the next big cold front smashes us. We're not quite out of winter yet, but we do have some respite over the next few days when the waves just pump all day, every day, pretty much everywhere. I've got my friend Patrick, the purple teddy bear, here just to make sure that we don't go too purple. Well, there's no choice in that really, because this storm next week, down to a whopping unbelievable 916 millibars, forms south of the country. According to the European model, the American Global Forecasting System, GFS, tends to disagree somewhat. Needless to say, there's going to be plenty of storm action, and it's going to be basically arriving next week around about Wednesday. Just to show you here that there's a string of storms moving past below the country. Geez, the next few days it's going to be absolutely cranking. So if we just basically zoom in and go, so basically we've got Richards Bay right up there, and then of course the western boundary of the country, Oranienmund, up that side. So Thursday we've got beautiful conditions up the west coast, northeast berg winds, we've got northwesterly land breezes and westerly offshores all the way through the Eastern Cape, and then we've got calm in the Kai, and then we've got northeast onshores blowing by now. We have so much swell around, especially this afternoon. It's pushing in, spreading 18-second swell, lots of nice deep energy there all the way up the southwestern Cape coast, and then it spreads this afternoon. Hey man, where's my there you can see underlying all that swell is actually a very powerful swell, so it's quite mixed. Cape Town's getting actually a lot of mixed swell, and I think all around the Cape there's basically several swell trains in the ocean at the same time, but yeah, definitely in the 4, 5, 6 foot range up to 8 foot on open coast, and certainly you guys will be feeling it in the Eastern Cape later on today. And then overnight the wind dies off and it goes super glassy or land breezy all the way up the KZN coastline, and look at that, just light northwesterly conditions, light east up the west coast, Cape Town totally glassy, and basically that long period swell is now settled in nicely. 10 foot at 16 seconds all the way along the coast, all the way as far as the Kai or East London in the early hours of the morning, and then during the morning, that 9 foot at 18 second swell is going to be felt in the Transkei, Wild Coast, and the Dorney up that side is going to be absolutely gangbusters, as it certainly will be all along the coast here. Hopefully the beaches, J Bay, will be opened after that very sad shark incident yesterday morning. And then we go up the coast into KZN. There is a little bit of south swell, but it hasn't really arrived there. Just looking at the wind again for later on in the day, just hoping you might be able to get a late session as the swell starts to arrive, but sadly you won't, because there's a fresh northeasterly going to be blowing by then. And then on Saturday we've got some lekker glassy conditions, light southeast winds up the west coast. We've got again beautiful northwesterly land breezes all the way up the coast, even in KZN at first. And we've got, in terms of swell, yeah man, I think there's going to be plenty. We've got basically 9 foot at 14 second swell, a little bit smaller than Friday, but still fun. And it's now reached right up into KZN side, so there should be some super fun lined up southerly swells with a nice energy, 15 seconds running on the points, and in the Eastern Cape as well, Southern Cape, 4, 5, maybe even 6 foot sets on the open coast, and that's very nice. Wind-wise, it's going to continue to be offshore and clean and really good all through the morning, and then in the afternoon it goes like light to moderate southeast up the west coast. The westerlies still blow Eastern Cape side, and there's the light onshore starting to blow in KZN. And then come Sunday, again, perfect conditions, beautiful conditions, light, clean, southeast offshore winds to east and all the way along the Eastern Cape coast. KIF, light northwest land breezes, and the same for KZN. A little bit of northeast around this side of the coastline, but probably land breezy. And then it does go a little bit onshore later, and of course the waves are still pouring through. I mean, it's winter and it's just K's on. 0 foot at 5 seconds. Yeah, there you go. Okay, thank you. 12 foot at 14 seconds southwest on the open coast means around 6 to 8 foot. So yeah, it's just still going gangbusters all of Sunday morning. And then into Monday is where things start to change, as that big storm down in the south starts to impact conditions. Now let's just zoom out and I'll show you what I mean. Come Monday, there's that giant storm Okay, and let's just for shits and giggles look at the European model. There's this huge wodge, okay, of wind here and big swell, big high bandwidth shotgun spray of mixed direction and mixed size swell on the way. Now, these two high pressure systems here are going to be creating by Monday evening and overnight into Tuesday fresh northeast winds up the east coast, fresh south to southeast winds up the west coast. And then there's a low forming in between, okay? That low detaches itself from the coastline and becomes its own like little storm. If you look at rain, you'll see that the weather starts to arrive and there's lots of precipitation in the Cape, okay? With stiff westerlies, and then it moves up the coast, it basically dissipates. And then here comes the big wodge of really bad weather. As you can see inside that wind, 64 knot gusts, so it's super fierce and it really gets really hectic right across the coastline on Wednesday evening, pumping busters. And this lasts well into Thursday. In fact, all of Thursday, you got like big winds pumping. And as you can see, it's all gone very southerly. And that low pressure system has now sort of regathered itself and it's now 1,000 millibars. In terms of the waves, brew, it's just ginormous. I mean, look at Wednesday. There it comes now, 31 feet at 12 seconds, storm swell, and it's taken on a very southerly bent by Wednesday. But it's super messy. I mean, it's just crazy. There's too much of everything, wind and swell. And it's mixed up, mangled, and swell mayhem. I just wanted to show you something very interesting about this as well, is if we have to look at the temperature, okay, you'll see that these two highs that are very south placed for winter, and then this little low below it on Wednesday, pulling up the southerly wind and sucking up all this freezing polar air. So you'll see this, there's that bump over here. This bump is basically where that air is being pulled up between that high and that low pressure system. And come Wednesday night, you see that it's actually got a lot closer to the coast. Early Thursday, wow, check at that, freezing conditions in the interior with Lesotho like minus 10 degrees easily and probably higher on the high ground. Places in the Karoo minus temperatures, and then all along the coastline for us, I mean, it's way colder than normal. And that's just from all that like freezing air that's been pulled up from the south. Look at that, 5 degrees. Now it's in the area 4 degrees. I mean, it's like, that's gonna be cold and it's gonna be stormy. So the swell just pummels through, and then on Friday, the wind has now shifted up the coast. And Friday, we start seeing a bit of sanity prevailing, and conditions probably going to be pretty good in some of the coastline. But anyway, there you go. A little bit of respite from winter, good waves every day for a good while until basically next Wednesday when a big cold front claps us with cold weather, rain, and big waves. That's it for now. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the water. Stay safe out there. Cheers.